All right. What to watch for with Joey Dwyer in 3, 2, 1. Joey, the first of the final two road trips for Vanderbilt coming up Saturday, early kickoff in Columbia. We will not be there. I think our road trips are over. Although I think you're going to Knoxville, so that'll be one final football game for you coming up here in a couple of weeks. A bye week after this week, which I think is interesting, Joey. So technically 3 more weeks left in this season. For the Commodores, they're trying to get their first SEC win of the season, trying to get just the third SEC win of Clark Lee's tenure. And Joey, this is attainable. I mean, we said it last week against Auburn. I think we pointed to these two games late in the season that these are games that you could potentially win if you're Vanderbilt, and that's available for them on Saturday. South Carolina has not looked very good consistently this season. Of course, they got Spencer Rattler, but their offensive line has been battered and bruised. So the big question here, the first question for you, Joey, is can either team establish the run game? Both these teams are at the bottom of the SEC. South Carolina averaging 86 rushing yards per game, somehow worse than Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt, we know where they are. I think around the 90-point mark, 13th in the league. They're both at the bottom. So can either of them establish a run game? If not, Joey, we could get a little bit of a shootout here with both teams kind of chucking the ball around the yard.
Yeah, two one-dimensional offenses is certainly an interesting formula. I don't think either rush defense is particularly good either. So it'll be interesting to see if one of the teams can maybe establish the run while the other can't. That could be a big difference in this game. If Cedric Alexander could get going, A.J. Newberry could get going, or if South Carolina can put it on the ground a little bit and prove that it isn't the worst rushing team in the SEC. We'll see, Billy, but I think if one team can make the other one-dimensional and that team doesn't have to be one-dimensional, it can go and find a way to win this game. And Spencer Rattler's obviously going to be a difference maker, but if Carolina can't complement him with the run game and Vanderbilt can complement Ken Seals, certainly got a chance.
You mentioned Ken Seals, and we didn't see. I don't think we saw as much of Walter Taylor as we thought we might see last week. Ken played okay. I mean, again, that's kind of the thing with Ken Seals. He doesn't light the world on fire, but he also doesn't make mistakes that'll lose you the game. So for Vandy though, Ken has to play better than just okay, right? He's got to go out there, be smart, take some shots, because that's what Clark has talked about. Take your shots when you get them, and you got to catch the football. Joey, there were way too many drops against Auburn from Shepard and Humphreys and guys like that. So is it Ken Seals' game? I think that's a great question, Joey. I mean, this could be the Ken Seals game. I know we joke about legacy game. I don't think I'd say that, but this could be a really good opportunity for him to prove what he's got. And, this South Carolina defense is a good proving ground for that.
Yeah, we haven't seen that breakout performance from Ken Seals yet. We've kind of seen just some middle-of-the-road games where he hasn't turned it over, where he's kept him in the game and been a ball control guy. Vanderbilt's going to need more than that in that environment, and against that team with the explosive passing game that South Carolina has and some of the mismatches that Clark Lee brought up in South Carolina's receivers versus Vanderbilt's secondary, Ken Seals has to first have control of the offense. That's really what I was trying to get at in the piece. It's just like, can Clark Lee and staff just show conviction in their quarterback and give the game to Ken Seals? Can they let him be the guy? I don't know, Billy. And also, I think continuity is really important at that position.
Yeah.
If Ken Seals has the game for most of it and Walter Taylor's just used sparingly, I think that's probably the right course of action here, because Ken Seals is the guy who you're kind of relying on to keep you in the game. And that's what I'm looking at, is Ken Seals maybe having the lion's share of snaps and seeing what his role is. And then can he, like you said, have one of the big games of the year that leads Vanderbilt to the win? It has to be Ken Seals leading the way on Saturday.
Yeah, and for the Gamecocks on the other side, it has to be Spencer Rattler. I mean, you talk about big games. He's had some big games this season. 2,516 passing yards this season. That's third in the conference. And he's averaging 280 passing yards per game. So, I mean, week in, week out, Spencer Rattler is showing what he's capable of. And he's got a great receiver in Xavier Legette. And they've got, I think, an underrated running back room where they can – they can kind of throw it out to in the backfield and let them run. So Rattler is that kind of guy, right? He's elusive. He's capable of making those, Patrick Mahomes type plays where you get out of the pocket and you just evade the pressure. speaking of pressure, Vanderbilt's going to have to put pressure on him. And if they don't, Joey, you're up a creek because, if you let him get out of the pocket, not a good sign.
At all. I think Vanderbilt's defensive line over the past couple weeks, particularly the Georgia game, showed some positive signs. And I think with that group having so many young players, you look at that group as one that could maybe ascend towards the end of the year a little bit, and this is a great opportunity for it. And it's really an opportunity that's necessary. Vanderbilt's secondary is going to be a little outmatched. Clark will even mention that to an extent. Vanderbilt's got to help it out with some pass rush. Darren Agu's got to get in there. I don't know what the status of Issa Wataha is. Could you update me on that, Billy?
I haven't heard much. I'm sure when Clark speaks today, he'll give an update. But I don't think it was much better on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I would think so. He was in a boot on Saturday. We don't know any other Vanderbilt athlete that was in a boot either. So that's certainly significant. But I mean, if they're without him, guys are gonna have to step up, and we'll see. But I can't believe I didn't know the injury update there. That's on me. But Vanderbilt point being, Vanderbilt's young pass rushers have to step up and make plays on Spencer Rattler. Otherwise, it's going to be a really difficult day for its secondary.
Let's go back to Vanderbilt's offense here, Joey. And I like the last question you put. How aggressive is Joey Lynch? And obviously, offensively, it just hasn't gone well since Vanderbilt has gone away from A.J. Swan, right? They look like a totally different group in terms of mentality and what the plays they're actually calling, right? And what your quarterback can do, how other players play around him. I felt like Shepard played a little bit better with Swan in there. It just, at times there was cohesion, but you also had brutal mistakes that you just couldn't really stomach anymore. And so, that's a big part of that decision. But in terms of Joey Lynch, he's got to be aggressive, right? I mean, 2 more games left in this season, absolutely nothing to lose. You're 2-8. I don't know if I've seen a trick play all season, Joey. I think if you're a Vanderbilt fan, you want to see something like that, to where you think to yourself and you go, okay, they're trying to get creative, right? They're trying to go out there and find new ways to maybe knock off a team, because what they're doing right now just hasn't been working.
What really hasn't been working is first down runs up the middle, and that's kind of what I was inspired by as I wrote this thing to watch. Vanderbilt's got to play to win the game, and doing that doesn't seem like it. The play calling from Joey Lynch, I think, at times has been good, getting its playmakers in space, but just consistently hasn't been aggressive enough in my mind. Vanderbilt's got to find a way to push it down the field and be aggressive. Give Ken Seals opportunities to win or lose this game for you. And I don't even know that Vanderbilt has done that throughout the last couple of weeks with its play calling. So Ken Seals has to have a chance to show you that he can win the game or show you that he can't. And I think that's Joey Lynch's job on Saturdays, to just put him in a position to do that.
11 a.m. kickoff, Vanderbilt and South Carolina. Again, we will not be there, but I think we do like the early kick. So get up, get your coffee, and get your morning routine going, and turn on the SEC network and watch Vanderbilt and South Carolina. That'll do it for us, though. For Joey Dwyer, I'm Billy Derrick. Thanks for listening to the Vandy Sports Pregame Show. All right, we're good.
Yes, sir. Thank you.